I'm live. I'm foofing hair and I'm live. Foofy hair, foofy hair. I made a video that was only 23 minutes long. It's like somebody calls somebody. So I thought I would try it again with another topic that's getting brought up a lot. Sometimes, for me, writing is tedious. Hooking up words and making them run right. To me, it's like cutting out my appendix with a spork sometimes. So to type up an answer to something several people have mentioned is tedious. I'm not a writer. I'm sorry, Neil Gaiman. I'm not a writer. I did your masterclass. I'm not a writer. I'm a storyteller, but I'm not a writer. And sometimes I just get bored with that shit. I mean, hats off to you guys who write a lot. I mean, I write a lot, but only because I have to. So, was mentioned several times tonight. I'm gonna see if I can do this. I'm checking my sound. Always keep your Newman Zone handy. It was mentioned several times, and I've seen it mentioned over the last few days. People are facing a situation that they've never faced before, and like, duh, who isn't? This is all of us, or it's none of us. But I'm seeing people posting who are not used to being home, and they are stressed because they might be sleeping a lot. Personally, hibernation is a good thing. Just ask the bear nations, ask Wolverine, ask chipmunks. Hibernating is a good thing. This is not a healthy culture. Now, if you haven't figured that out, then you kind of need to go back to go and start over. Nothing of alignment with in keeping a work schedule, quote unquote, is you're out of alignment with your own sleeping pattern, your own natural sleep pattern. Secondly, I can tell you straight up as a dreamer, I can tell you the body does its strongest healing in the dream. So, as far as I'm concerned, the more we can dream, the better, because it gets that ego self, that society brainwashed self of shoulds, woulds, coulds, and oughts. All of that shuts down and energy flows through the body while dreaming. And it heals, and it can heal. We as a species are also exceedingly busy in the dream right now. Now, if you look back at the very first video that I ever made, God, it may have been months and months and months ago. I don't even know how long ago. I said something in that very first video, the breakthrough video that I actually did one, and I've come back to it quite a few times. Something that I have known since childhood. And for me, it was something that culture, society, school, peers could not kill. They made it so I knew better than to talk about it, but they didn't kill it. Whereas other people killed their inner voice. I never did. And that is, I came in this world knowing that something is going to happen. And I know I'm not the only one. I do not think I am the only one, okay? I do not think that. The majority of people that I meet also have suspected all their lives. And, growing up in the atomic age, 1960s, 1970s, I mean, it could have been anything. It could have been, Armageddon, me from Gabriel and angels and, rapture or nuclear winter, whatever. But, we knew something was going to happen. Well, for people like me, there were no answers that were satisfying, even as a child. Yeah, I was one of those kids. But regardless, if anyone, kept up with that spiritual pursuit and pursued alternative explanations of reality, it doesn't matter right now. None of that matters because it was never a competition. However, this is not it. Just for those who have been asking me, what do I think? I don't think this is it. I don't think this is the big one. Might be a dry run, could well be a dress rehearsal, but I don't think it's it. But I don't think, I know the decisions we make between equinox to equinox are going to determine our future as a species. Now, to me, that's beyond politics. That's beyond religion. That's beyond race. It's beyond culture. It's beyond stigma. This is down to us as a species. And I'm perfectly comfortable taking that stance, sitting in that energy. I don't mind at all. I don't expect others to be able to hold it, though, because not many people went to the lengths that I went to be able to sit that energy and hold it in rush hour traffic, working a job, et cetera, et cetera. I did. So during this time that people are at home and they are isolating for the first time, a lot of them for the first time. I mean, I'm looking through Facebook and Twitter and my other, like social things, and I'm seeing a lot of people that are completely unfamiliar with being on their own schedule. They talk a good game, but when it gets down to it, they kind of don't know what to do. And it's not a judgment. It's just, I know somebody who does. So the more time spent sleeping, as long as it's not like drug induced, kind of evasion of everything going on, which is it's not that, that I don't see anything wrong with people taking a break and sleeping in for a day or so anyway. I mean, it's not like you got anything going on. If it becomes like a habitual thing, then you got to look into depression and that sort of stuff. But just to sleep for 10 hours is not bad. You may be resetting your own circadian rhythm. You don't know. You've never had your own rhythm. Really never have. Nobody has. Ever since early infancy, we're woken up and told we need to eat, we need to do this, need to get dressed, need to get up, need to do that, need to do this. People have never followed their natural rhythms. Very few. And that's fine. So I see people coming on and they're feeling really guilty because they slept 10 and a half hours. Um, they're falling asleep in the middle of the day. I don't see anything wrong with that. There's important work being done in the dream right now. The dream is even busier than this world. And people are connecting with that. Now, one thing about dreaming, uh, not everyone was raised talking about their dreaming and what's going on with dreams across the dinner table with their parents. And that's okay. Um, Not everybody had adults coming to them to interpret dreams at age 6. So that's fine also. So I have a couple of suggestions that I used to give to students and when I would take people out in the woods. And when I would take people out in the woods, they had to plan for like a minimum of a week. I mean, the least amount of time I would take people out in the woods was like 4 days because it takes 2.5, sometimes 3 of those days just to come off the world of man's schedule and even touch the schedule of nature or the natural self and to even hear it, much less be in it. So this is not a there's not a time schedule to this, so to speak. Allowing yourself to sleep until you wake up and waking up naturally is unnatural to a lot of people. being jolted out of sleep by alarm clocks, schedules, kids, dogs, whatever, jolted out of the dream state back into this world severs memory of what was just happening in the dreaming consciousness. Now I'm motion like over here, but dreaming takes place like right here. But so learning to take a few minutes to reconnect with that state upon waking may be the sort who doesn't want to in this life. But if you think it might be your ego just saying, I don't remember it because I don't want to, but you suddenly find yourself, well, maybe I should or whatever, then I have a couple of tricks. Number one, forget the friggin' alarm clock. Now, for me, I have two 14-pound four-legged hairballs that wake me up every morning at 4:30 a.m. Every afternoon at 4:30 p.m. They come and get me, and all I have to say is, "What time is it?" and they come running. They might as well be dairy cattle because they wake up, I'm shit you not, every day, 4:30 a.m. Now I can get up and I can feed them, wake up, do a couple of things, just have a little quiet moment or so, and then I can go back to sleep in a couple of hours sometimes, depending on the energy. Other times, forget it. I'm going to be up for a day or more. You can even use those times more constructively as far as remembering dreams. Um, the J word. Journals are really important. Now, I know somebody who kept their journal, they were a secretary and they kept their journal in the steno book, Sparko Junior Legal. And other people just use a composition book. Some people use loose leaf notepaper. I'm too scattered for that. It needs to all be hooked together. I like journals. I've had plenty of them stolen, and I've been keeping journal pretty much since I was like 5. Most of them are dream journals. Um, just remembering dreams or like a scene from a dream or the overall flavor of a dream and just writing that down for that day. It creates a connection between those two states of consciousness. Seth said, and was dead right, there are no separations to the self. We are awake here and we are awake in the dream right now. We are awake. We are still dreaming. You didn't leave that body behind. It's just like when you change the TV channel off of CNN, CNN doesn't go poof and cease to exist. It's just no longer on your receiver. This is your receiver. So when you want to remember dreams or enhance dreaming, etc., begin by keeping a dream journal. And it's usually right beside the bed. I know one fella kept a tape recorder because he didn't want to write it down. And I literally heard him like talking into this tape recorder in the middle of the night. That's fine. It keeps that connection open, or it even establishes a connection where one didn't exist before. Getting off an artificial schedule. The world of man, all of it is illusion. It is all artificial as far as nature is concerned. Yay! The more of us that can do that right now, the better our chances are surviving as a species. I do know some things. Like I said, get jolted awake. Before going to sleep at night, you can tell yourself. You can begin telling yourself, I will start remembering dreams. I had, for a while, such a hard time getting up to go to work in my early 20s that I made trigger words that would happen during the day. And then during the day, I would hear a word and I would remember the entire dream. And for me, that worked really well. I have kept dream journals. I don't have it sitting here. I thought I had a calendar sitting here, but I have kept dream journals that are literally the calendar, just with the little squares, and just writing one or two things. Did I dream? Did I wake up hard? Going to sleep easy. Some people fall asleep in the middle of a sentence. I'm not that way. I'm like, I gotta ease into it like a really hot bathtub, and I gotta come out of it the same way, or I'm gonna jump out of bed and walk face first into the wall, because I do not understand the impermeability of this reality a lot of the time, and I've been here 61 years. If I ain't got it by now, I'm pretty much not gonna get it. So, I try not to jump up and go do things because I will aim for the door and go face first into the door jamb. I just don't come back into my body that quickly. I know how I am with dreaming. Now, you keep your little journal, your notebook, your piece of paper, your whatever beside the bed because you might literally be waking up in the middle of the night and sketching something or drawing something. You can even write in the dark when you can't see, but you can write things, single words in the dark that you can't see, that will spark that memory when you do wake up and review. Um, I had one, and of course, I can't find it right now, but then I wound up drawing over it and making all these different designs. But it was literally, I just wrote something in the dark, um, just to have it written down. Uh, now, you will hear all kinds of people tell you all kinds of stuff about. I mean, I say listen to it. I mean, what's it going to hurt? One aspect that I know is a process that works, and that is I don't have one sitting here. I don't. Is just a rose quartz. It could be no bigger than this. This is I'm really not sure. It might be a sugilite. It could be jade, but it's a little stone I took off a necklace that I made into bracelet. Um, it could just be this big, little stone. Put in just a little glass of water at bedtime. Sitting in bed, the rose quartz goes into the water, and you just say, "Tonight, I will connect and I will remember my dreams." Just a little sip of the water, put it beside the bed, go to sleep. Wake up, the rose quartz is still in the water. You take a sip with the intent, and I have made this connection. The cats are going crazy. That made this connection, and now I will connect to the dream at some time this morning. Don't regiment it because one thing dreams aren't is regimented. So this is just one little tidbit, tip, or trick that has helped me over the years. For me, any stone will do it, but a lot of people place on rose quartz that it's a balancing energy. It's a it's a calming kind of energy, a soft energy. A lot of people equate it with heart energy, and all dreams are not heart. Some dreams are fuck all. Holy shit. Um, we could go into different types of dreams in that later. But for right now, I know that we as a species are busy as shit in the dream. The more you can remember and bring into this world, the better. The second thing that is so important right now is people really must consider journaling. Look at what has been done to history. Who's going to tell the story of what happened if not us? And I know the first impulse is, oh, nobody cares. I'm not important. You are important to your grandchildren. You are important to who will come after you. And journaling is a wonderful way. Take it from somebody who does not think in linear terms. It is a wonderful way to get thoughts here in a linear type fashion. Now, if you've seen my journals, I'm not what you'd call linear, but I do know every one of those sentences, and I recall, when I did them, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, I know how my brain works. I think it's amazingly important right now that we spend this time that we are separated. The natural tendency is going to be to first freak out because everything's different. And then the natural tendency is going to be to turn in on the self, to self examine. That's why people are going to freak out. They don't, because they're afraid of doing that. The more fear that we as spiritual workers can help remove from that, the better we're doing. Because the first thing they will do is introspect. They will introspect while finding their own timing. This entire culture is made up of, it's designed to keep people off their natural timing, keep you off your center, keep you not introspecting, to keep you chasing something or being chased by something. And this time of lockdown, separation, whatever you want to call it, is a golden opportunity, and it may well be our last chance. I do sense that it could well be our last chance. So to introspect, they will examine the self, they will examine their environment, and in so doing, they will examine what they have been living for lives. And then they will reach out to connect. They will want to speak to others. They will want to know that others are there. It's just the natural way of humans. We're herd animals. We're not, everybody isn't like me. They're just like, these lone creatures. And most people are herd animals. We're doing that in the dream. We're doing it here. We're doing it in media, which to me, all of the internet is a form of dreaming. The more we can bring together those illusory separations, the better off we're going to be. And if you won't do it for yourself, do it for your kid. Because, I used to think that, who would bring a kid into this world the way it is? They chose to be here at this time just as much as we did. They have what they are going to do, just like we have what we are going to do. And they have every right to be here, every right to explore this reality, and they have every birthright to as much natural and unnatural influences as we can provide them. That's what we do. Khalil Gibran wrote, "Children are the living arrows." I would say parents are the bows from which their children, as living arrows, are sent forth into the world. So these children that are here, the children that are in utero, the children that are coming, they're coming with just as much purpose as a lot of us have had since the beginning, even though we were so very different from everyone else as far as fitting in, belonging, conforming, looking like just another penguin. We owe it to them. We owe this to them. So that's all I have on that. Unless you are taking drugs and getting drunk and staying asleep just in avoidance, now that needs to be examined. You should examine that. But if you're sleeping 12 hours one day and you're like, holy crap, I don't even know what day it is, I don't consider that necessarily a priority. I consider that finding your own rhythm. And it's time to start bringing that memory into this world to integrate the self back into the complete whole that we were designed to be in the beginning, from the beginning. So later we can talk about dreams. If you want to talk about dream meaning, God, you can find stuff all over the net. You don't need me for that. But we can talk about dreaming in the energy body. But right now, just staying focused and being mindful of dreaming is important. It's important right now, and it's okay that you focus on that and you enhance it if you want. So anyway, that's all I got right now, and I will talk to you later. Ciao for now. Sweet dreams.